She left her husband for a rich man, but he exposed the shocking truth about her. The champagne glass trembles in Elena's manicured fingers as she stares across the marble terrace of Marcus Blackwood's penthouse. Below, the city glitters like scattered diamonds, but her attention fixates on the man in the shadows, not Marcus, her billionaire lover, but the figure she recognizes even from 30 floors up. David, her husband, her former husband. He stands perfectly still beside a black sedan, his face tilted upward. Even at this distance, she feels the weight of his gaze, the way it always seemed to see through her carefully constructed facades. A shiver runs down her spine despite the warm evening air. "Darling, you're trembling." Marcus's voice slides over her like silk, his hands settling possessively on her bare shoulders. His touch should comfort her after all. She chose this life, chose him. But tonight, something feels different, wrong. "I'm fine," she whispers, not turning from the window. "Just tired." Marcus's reflection appears in the glass beside hers, silver-haired, distinguished. Everything David wasn't. Where David's hands were calloused from years of building his modest construction business, Marcus's are soft, manicured. Where David wore his heart in his dark eyes, Marcus's pale gaze reveals nothing. "You've been distant lately." His fingers trace the diamond necklace at her throat, his latest gift, worth more than David earned in a year. Having second thoughts, the question should be ridiculous. She left David 6 months ago for this penthouses, private jets, a life of luxury she'd only dreamed of. But lately, dreams have been turning into nightmares. Dreams where David's voice whispers things she thought no one knew, things about her past, about who she really was before she became Elena Martinez, before she married David, before she reinvented herself completely. "Never," she says, but the word tastes like ash. Marcus turns her to face him, his thumb brushing her lower lip. "Good, because tomorrow's board meeting is crucial. My investors need to see us as a united front, a power couple." She nods, forcing a smile, but over his shoulder, through the window, David's figure has vanished. Only the empty street remains, and somehow that's worse than seeing him there. Later, alone in the guest bedroom, she still can't bring herself to share Marcus's bed every night. Elena stares at her phone. 17 missed calls from an unknown number. Her finger hovers over the delete button, but something stops her. She presses play on the first voicemail. Elena. David's voice, deeper than she remembers, more controlled. "We need to talk." Her heart hammers against her ribs. She deletes the message and tries the next. "I know you think you've left your old life behind, but some things don't stay buried." Delete. "I know about Phoenix. I know about the name you used before Elena Martinez." Her phone slips from nerveless fingers, clattering on the marble floor. Phoenix. God, how did he? The bedroom door opens without a knock. Marcus enters, his expression unreadable in the dim light. "Trouble sleeping?" he asks, but his eyes are on the phone at her feet. "Just checking messages." She forces casualness into her voice as she retrieves the device. "From who?" The question hangs between them like a blade. Marcus has never been possessive before, distant, yes, but never controlling. Tonight feels different. Tonight, everything feels different. "Work." She lies smoothly. "You know how demanding the gallery can be." He studies her face for a long moment, and she has the unsettling feeling he's memorizing every micro-expression. "Of course, the gallery." He moves closer, and she catches his scent, expensive cologne layered over something else, something metallic. "Elena, yes, you know I'd do anything to protect what we have, don't you?" The words should sound romantic. Instead, they sound like a threat. "I know," she whispers. He kisses her forehead, a gesture that should be tender but feels like a brand, and leaves her alone with her racing thoughts. She waits until his footsteps fade before scrolling through the remaining voicemails. David's voice continues, each message more certain, more dangerous than the last. "I hired a private investigator, Elena, 3 months ago. I know about the trust fund you embezzled in Phoenix. I know about the married man whose wife died in that convenient car accident. I know about the identity you bought, the papers you forged." Her reflection stares back from the darkened window, beautiful, perfectly composed, completely hollow. But most of all, David's final message plays. His voice soft as velvet and twice as dangerous. "I know about Marcus. about what he really does with those overseas investments, about the people who've disappeared when they got too close to the truth. The phone goes silent. Outside, thunder rumbles across the city sky, and Elena realizes her perfectly constructed world is about to come crashing down. The only question is, who will destroy it first? The rain lashes against the windows of David's modest downtown office as he spreads photographs across his desk like tarot cards predicting doom. Each image tells a story Elena thought she'd erased forever. Security footage from a Phoenix bank, flight records under a different name, hotel receipts that place her in cities where convenient accidents happen to inconvenient people. His phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Meet me. Riverside Park, midnight. Come alone. Edovit's pulse quickens, but not from fear. For the first time in months, he feels truly alive. Elena always did love dramatic gestures. The storm has passed by the time he reaches the park, leaving the air thick with the scent of rain-soaked earth and blooming jasmine. She's waiting on the same bench where he proposed 5 years ago, her designer coat stark against the weathered wood. Even in the dim streetlight, she's breathtaking, all sharp angles and dangerous curves. Like a blade wrapped in silk. You came, she says without looking at him. Did you think I wouldn't? He settles beside her, close enough to catch her familiar scent, vanilla and secrets, sweet with an edge that always made his head spin. I thought you'd be smarter than that. When have I ever been smart where you're concerned? She turns then, and he sees the cracks in her perfect facade, shadows under her eyes, a tremor in her hands she can't quite hide. What do you want? David, the truth. Which truth? I've collected so many over the years. Start with Phoenix. Start with Rebecca Chen. Elena's breath catches. Rebecca, the identity she wore before Elena Martinez, before she became his wife. How did you? I'm not the same man who let you walk away 6 months ago. His voice is steady, controlled, but she can hear the steel beneath the silk. I've learned a few things about investigation, about patience, about waiting for the right moment to strike. Is that what this is? Revenge? He shifts closer, his thigh pressing against hers through the thin fabric of her coat. Do you want it to be? The question hangs between them, loaded with years of history, months of betrayal, and something else, something that feels dangerously like hunger. Elena's pulse flutters at her throat, and David finds himself fascinated by the rhythm. Marcus will be wondering where I am, she whispers, but she doesn't move away. Let him wonder. David's fingers find hers on the bench between them. Her skin is cold, but her touch burns. Tell me about the car accident in Denver, about how convenient it was that Jonathan Reeves's wife died just before she could expose your embezzlement scheme. That was an accident, was it? His thumb traces circles on her palm, a gesture that used to comfort her, but now feels like an interrogation technique, because the brake lines on her Mercedes were cut. The police report was buried, but money talks, even to dead files. Elena tries to pull her hand away, but his grip tightens, not painful, but inescapable. You don't understand what you're dealing with. Then explain it to me. I can't. Her voice breaks on the words. David, you have to stop digging. For your own safety. Are you threatening me? I'm begging you. The desperation in her voice catches him off guard. This isn't the cold, calculating woman who left him for a bigger bank account. This is the Elena he glimpsed sometimes in their quiet moments, vulnerable, terrified, utterly human. What kind of trouble are you in? He asks, his voice gentler now, the kind that gets people killed. She looks up at him, and her eyes shine with unshed tears. Marcus isn't just wealthy, David. He's dangerous, the kind of dangerous that makes problems disappear permanently. Then why stay with him? Because he knows about Rebecca Chen, about Phoenix, about all of it. The words pour out of her like a confession. He has files, David. Documentation of everything I've done, everyone I've hurt. If I leave him, he destroys you. He destroys us. You, me, anyone who gets close to the truth. David processes this, his investigator's mind cataloging the implications. Elena isn't just a gold digger who traded up. She's a prisoner in a gilded cage, trapped by her own past sins and Marcus's present power. There's something else, she whispers, her free hand reaching for his face. Something I never told you. Her fingers trace his jawline, and despite everything, the lies, The betrayal. The danger his body responds to her touch like it always has, like it's hardwired into his DNA. What? I never stopped loving you. The confession hits him like a physical blow. Her lips are inches from his, her breath warm against his skin. For a moment, the years fall away, and they're just David and Elena again, before the secrets, before the lies, before everything went wrong. Elena, she closes the distance between them, her mouth soft and desperate against his. The kiss tastes like regret in rain, and something darker, the metallic tang of fear. When they break apart, she's already standing. Forget you found me, she whispers. Forget everything you think you know, and whatever you do, don't dig any deeper into Marcus Blackwood. Some truths are too dangerous to uncover. She disappears into the shadows, leaving David alone with the echo of her words and the lingering taste of what might have been salvation or damnation. In the distance, a black sedan with tinted windows pulls away from the curb. David smiles grimly. The game, it seems, is just beginning. Marcus Blackwood's study smells of leather and expensive whiskey, but underneath lurks something else, something that reminds David of morgues and unmarked graves. He sits across from the billionaire's mahogany desk, his recording device hidden, but running, his expression carefully neutral despite the adrenaline coursing through his veins. "Mr. Santos," Marcus says, his voice smooth as aged bourbon, "I must admit, I'm curious why Elena's former husband would request a meeting." "Business," David replies simply. "I hear you're always looking for new investment opportunities." Marcus leans back in his chair, studying David with pale eyes that seem to catalog every detail. "And what business would a small-time contractor have that might interest me? The kind that involves cleaning up messes." David meets his gaze steadily. "I understand you occasionally require discreet services." Something shifts in Marcus's expression, a predator recognizing another predator. "And what makes you think I require such services?" "Let's just say I've been doing my research. Jonathan Reeves in Denver, Patricia Yamamoto in Seattle, Thomas Chen in Phoenix." Each name lands like a bullet. All people who got too close to uncomfortable truths. All conveniently deceased. Tragic accidents, from what I recall. Of course, just like it would be tragic if Elena's past indiscretions came to light. If certain authorities learned about her creative approach to trust fund management. Marcus's smile is razor sharp. "Are you threatening me, Mr. Santos? I'm offering you a solution." David leans forward, every muscle coiled for action. Elena is a liability. She's getting sloppy, emotional. Sooner or later, she'll become more trouble than she's worth. And you propose, make her disappear. Permanently. I'll help. You do it. The words taste like poison, but David forces them out. He needs Marcus to believe him. Needs to get close enough to gather evidence. Elena's life depends on it, even if she doesn't know it yet. Marcus pours 2 glasses of whiskey, sliding one across the desk. "Why would you want to harm the woman you once loved?" "Love." David laughs. The sound bitter and convincing. "She destroyed my life, took everything I built and threw it away for money. For you." He takes a sip of the whiskey, letting it burn. "I want her to pay. Revenge is expensive, Mr. Santos, and messy. I'm prepared to pay whatever it costs." Marcus studies him for a long moment, then opens his desk drawer. David tenses, expecting a weapon, but instead Marcus pulls out a manila folder. Elena Rodriguez, that was her real name. Before Phoenix, before the identity changes. Fascinating reading. David forces himself to look surprised. Rodriguez, born in a trailer park in Nevada. Mother was a meth addict, father unknown. Elena clawed her way out through lies, theft, and occasionally murder. Marcus opens the file, revealing photographs. David has never seen Elena as a teenager. Already beautiful, but with hard eyes and sharp edges. She's quite the survivor, which makes her dangerous, indeed, but also valuable. Elena has a particular talent for making wealthy, lonely men fall in love with her, and when they've served their purpose. Marcus shrugs. "Well, accidents happen." David's blood runs cold. "How many?" "7, that I know of. Perhaps more." Marcus closes the file. "She's been working for me for 3 years, Mr. Santos. Our marriage is a business arrangement. She provides certain services. I provide protection and lifestyle. It's been mutually beneficial. The room seems to spin around David. Elena isn't Marcus's victim, she's his partner, his assassin. The accident that killed Jonathan Reeves's wife, David manages. Elena, such a tragic break failure, of course. Mrs. Reeves had discovered some rather damning evidence about Elena's creative bookkeeping. She had to be silenced before she could contact authorities. David thinks of Elena's desperate kiss in the park, her whispered confession of love. All lies. Everything, always, lies. But Elena has become attached. Marcus continues. To you, she's losing her edge. Questioning orders. Just last week, she failed to eliminate a journalist who was getting too close to our Phoenix operations. His pale eyes fix on David. She claimed the woman reminded her of someone from her past, someone who mattered. So eliminate Elena. Not yet. She still has value. But when the time comes, Marcus slides a business card across the desk. There's a warehouse in the industrial district, Pier 47, tomorrow night, midnight. Bring Elena there, and I'll ensure you're well compensated for your assistance. David pockets the card, his mind racing. A trap, obviously. But for whom? How do I get her there? Tell her you have evidence that will destroy me, that you want to meet somewhere private to plan my downfall. Marcus's smile is reptilian. She still loves you, you know, in her own twisted way. She'll come running to save you from the big bad wolf. David stands, extending his hand. Pleasure doing business with you, Mr. Blackwood. Marcus grips his hand, and David feels the callous is unusual for a billionaire. The hands of someone who's done his own dirty work. Until tomorrow, Mr. Santos. I do hope you won't disappoint me. Outside, David's hands shake as he lights a cigarette. 7 murders, 7 people dead because of the woman he loved, still loves, despite everything. His phone buzzes. A text from Elena. I need to see you. I found something about Marcus. Something that changes everything. David stares at the message, then deletes it. Tomorrow night, all debts will be paid. The question is, who will still be standing when the reckoning comes? The warehouse at Pier 47 crouches like a sleeping beast against the harbor, its broken windows reflecting the moon in jagged fragments. David arrives first, his footsteps echoing in the cavernous space as he checks the positions of Marcus's men shadows. With guns, thinking they're invisible, he counts 6, maybe 7, professional killers, but David has advantages they don't expect. 20 years of construction work has made him intimately familiar with industrial spaces, and 3 months of planning has given him time to prepare. Hidden cameras, backup plans, and most importantly, the FBI team positioned 3 blocks away, waiting for his signal. Elena's heels click against concrete as she enters, her silhouette elegant even in the harsh fluorescent light. She wears black, appropriate for a funeral. David thinks grimly. You came, he says, turning to face her. You said you had evidence about Marcus. Her voice is steady, but he can see the tension in her shoulders, the way her hand hovers near her purse, armed. Then, he expected no less. I do. He pulls out his phone, plays the recording of Marcus's confession. As Elena's face pales, David watches her carefully, looking for the mask to slip, for truth to finally emerge. My God, she whispers, 7 murders. David, I swear I didn't know. Stop. The word cuts through her protest like a blade. Just stop. She freezes, and for a moment, he sees past the beauty to the predator beneath. What? I know about the break lines, Elena. About Patricia Yamamoto and the convenient heart attack. About all of it. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. He steps closer, his voice dropping to a whisper that somehow carries more menace than a shout. You're Marcus's killer, his Black Widow. You seduce lonely rich men, and when they've served their purpose, you eliminate them. Elena's laugh is bitter and broken. Is that what you think? That I'm some cold-blooded assassin, aren't you? No. The word comes out strangled. David, everything I did, every horrible thing, it was to protect you. Protect me. Marcus has been watching you for months, since before I left. He knows about your construction contracts with the city, about the witnesses you've unknowingly housed in safe house builds. You're a threat to his operations, and he doesn't leave loose ends. David's mind reels. His construction company has indeed built several secure facilities for what he thought were government contracts. Safe houses, witness protection. So you left me to save me. I became his lover to get close to him, to learn his weaknesses, to find a way to destroy him without him destroying you first. Tears streamed down her face, and for the first time in months, David believes her completely. Every murder I committed, every life I took, it was to maintain my cover, to keep you alive, Elena. The journalist last week, the one I was supposed to kill, I helped her escape instead. Gave her enough evidence to bring down Marcus's entire operation. But he's suspicious now, David. He knows I'm compromised. A slow clap echoes through the warehouse. Marcus emerges from the shadows, flanked by his men. Touching, he says, his voice dripping with false sentiment. Young love conquers all. How wonderfully naive. David steps protectively in front of Elena, but she pushes past him. Her gun drawn and pointed at Marcus's heart. It's over, Marcus. The FBI has enough evidence to bury you. Do they? Marcus signals his men, and red laser dots bloom across Elena's chest. I'm afraid Agent Morrison's team has encountered some difficulties. Peer explosions can be so tragic. David's blood turns to ice. The FBI backup gone. But don't worry. Marcus continues. I have a new plan. A murder-suicide. Tragic David. Santos, driven mad by his wife's betrayal, kills them both before taking his own life. So very Greek tragedy. Run, Elena whispers to David, her eyes never leaving Marcus. When I start shooting, you run. I'm not leaving you. You have to. The first shot comes from the shadows. Elena spins, crying out as blood blooms across her shoulder. Her gun clatters away across the concrete. David lunges for it, but Marcus's men are faster. Hands drag him back, weapons pressed to his skull. You disappointed me, Elena, Marcus says, approaching her slowly. I actually grew rather fond of you. Such a waste of talent. Go to hell, she spits. Ladies first. David watches in horror as Marcus raises his gun toward Elena's head. Time slows, crystallizes into this single moment, his wife, his love, his partner in everything that mattered. About to die because of his investigation, his need for truth. Wait, David shouts. I have something you want. Marcus pauses. Oh, insurance evidence. Enough to destroy not just you, but everyone you work with, every politician, every judge, every dirty cop on your payroll. David's voice grows stronger with each lie. Let her live, and I'll give it all to you. David. No, Elena tries to protest. But blood loss is making her weak. Marcus considers this, then smiles. How deliciously poetic. Very well, but I'm afraid I can't let either of you leave this warehouse alive. However, I can make it quick for her. Painless. He turns the gun on David instead. Tell me where the evidence is, and I'll put a bullet in your brain before I make her suffer. David meets Elena's eyes across the warehouse, and something passes between them, an understanding. A goodbye, a promise. The evidence, David says clearly, is right here. He presses the dead man's switch in his pocket, and every explosive charge he's spent 3 months placing. Throughout the warehouse's support structure activates simultaneously. The last thing he sees before the world turns to fire is Elena's face, beautiful and fierce and finally, truly free. 6 months later, David sits in a sunlit cafe in Portland, his hands steady around a coffee cup as he watches Elena approach through the window. She moves differently now, less predatory grace, more simple human beauty. The surgeries have healed, well, leaving only thin scars along her jaw and temple. Badges of honor from their shared resurrection. You're early, she says, sliding into the seat across from him. Old habit. He studies her face, looking for shadows of the woman who once killed for Marcus Blackwood. He finds none. How was the deposition? Marcus won't be seeing daylight for several lifetimes. Neither will his associates. She removes her sunglasses, revealing eyes that are clearer than he's seen them in years. The prosecutor thinks we might actually have helped save dozens of lives by taking down his network. Small comfort for the 7 we couldn't save. Elena's face tightens. David, I'm not blaming you. He reaches across the table, his fingers intertwining with hers. We've been over this in therapy. You did what you had to do. I still killed them, to protect me, to protect other victims. It doesn't make it right. but it makes it understandable. The explosion at Pier 47 was supposed to kill them both, but David's construction expertise had served them well. He'd calculated the blast pattern to destroy the warehouse while leaving a pocket of safety. Near the old loading dock, they'd emerged battered and bleeding, but alive. While Marcus and his men weren't as fortunate, the FBI team Marcus claimed to have killed turned out to be a bluff. They were exactly where David had left them, ready to move in when the smoke cleared. By dawn, Marcus Blackwood's empire was crumbling, and Elena was finally free to tell the truth about everything. "I have something for you," Elena says, pulling a manila envelope from her purse. The last piece, David opens it to find a death certificate. Rebecca Chen, deceased in Phoenix 4 years ago. A real death certificate, not the fabricated one Elena had been using. Rebecca died in a car accident exactly as reported, Elena explains. "I assumed her identity afterward, but I didn't kill her. She was someone I tried to save, someone Marcus's previous associate murdered. Taking her name was my way of honoring her memory while creating a new life, Elena. I need you to know that everything between us was real." David Santos married Elena Rodriguez, the real me, under a borrowed name but with genuine feelings, the woman who fell in love with your terrible cooking and your habit of leaving construction dust on everything. He lifts their joined hands, pressing a kiss to her knuckles. "I know. I've always known. Even when you thought I was a murderer, even then." They sit in comfortable silence, watching the Oregon rain paint patterns on the cafe windows. It's taken 6 months of therapy, testimony, and painful honesty to reach this moment. Not forgiveness, exactly, but understanding, acceptance. The prosecutor's office has a job offer, Elena says eventually, consulting on cases involving identity, fraud and white-collar crime, using my unique expertise for good. Will you take it? That depends. On what? She looks at him directly, and he sees vulnerability there. Hope tempered by fear. On whether you think Elena Rodriguez deserves a second chance. David considers the question seriously. The woman across from him orchestrated elaborate cons, stole millions, killed 7 people. She also sacrificed everything to protect him, brought down a criminal empire, and spent 6 months in therapy working to understand the trauma that shaped her choices. "I think," he says carefully, "that Elena Rodriguez has been through hell and came out the other side. I think she's paid a price most people couldn't survive. And I think the world needs people who understand how easy it is to lose your way." Is that a yes? Instead of answering, he pulls a small velvet box from his jacket pocket. Elena's breath catches. "This isn't the old ring," he says, opening it to reveal a simple band with a small, perfect diamond. That belonged to Elena Martinez, who was running from her past. This one is for Elena Rodriguez, who's finally ready to face her future. "David, I'm not asking you to marry me again," he continues. "I'm asking you to marry me for the first time. The real you, the woman who survived a nightmare childhood, made terrible choices to protect the people she loved, and still managed to find her way back to something resembling grace." Elena's tears fall freely now, years of pain and guilt finally releasing. "Yes," she whispers. "Yes, I'll marry you. The real me this time." As he slides the ring onto her finger, David thinks about Phoenix myths, how some things have to burn completely before they can be reborn. They've both been through fire, both emerged scarred, but somehow stronger. Outside, the rain stops, and sunlight streams through the cafe windows, painting everything gold. "So what now?" Elena asks. "Now we build something new," David says, his thumb tracing over her wedding ring. "Together, no more secrets, no more running, just us. And whatever comes next, I love you, David Santos. I love you too, Elena Rodriguez." And for the first time in years, both of them mean it completely.